So today we'll discuss about bone homeostasis and remodeling. The bone, it actually appears to be quite static, appears to be static, but actually a lot of dynamic changes are being taken place each and every day in the bone, and annually around 10% of the bone changes. So these changes are brought about due to any structural defects or any mechanical forces. These things these things stimulate bone remodeling. So what is remodeling? It is actually constant turning over of the adult skeleton. It is actually the constant turning over of the adult skeleton, and the basic unit is known as the bone multicellular unit. What is this bone multicellular unit? It is the foci at which all these things are taking place. What is taking place? The remodeling is taking place. This foci actually is a combination of an osteoblast and an osteoclast, not like many osteoblasts and osteoclasts. So we know that osteoclasts are what? They are eating cells. These are actually macrophages. These are physiologically giant cells which eat up the bone to release calcium and phosphate. And what are osteoblasts? These make the bone. These are bone forming cells. So these osteoblasts and osteoclasts constantly work at the bone multicellular unit, and this leads to the process of remodeling. And due to and like many other processes, this process is also inhibited and stimulated by different things. What are these different things? It can either be cell to cell interaction, or it can be cytokines and hormones. So this cell to cell interaction actually takes place between osteoblast and osteoclast, and this thing, the cytokines and the hormones also play a crucial role in either increasing the activity of the osteoblast or the osteoclast, or decreasing the activity of the osteoblast and osteoclast. So let's see what are the different hormones, which are different things which are involved in the functioning of the activity of the osteoblast and the osteoclast. Let's first discuss regarding the osteoclast. So the osteoclast precursor actually harbors many different type of receptors. One of these receptors is known as the rank receptor. The rank receptor. It also has a monocyte colony stimulating factor receptor. This is easy to understand, as an osteoclast is actually a macrophage. It's actually a specialized form of a macrophage which is found in the bones. And macrophages, as we know, are formed from the monocytes only. So monocyte colony stimulating factor receptors are present on the osteoclast precursors. Also, very important receptor, the rank receptor, is also present. So when the stromal cells and or the osteoblast, they have different type of substances which either stimulate the receptors, and if this stimulation of receptors occurs, the osteoclast precursor actually changes into an osteoclast, a mature osteoclast, and it leads to formation of the resorption pit, which we discussed before, with the help of integrins. And we know that in the resorption pit, the neutral metalloproteinases are released, and which leads to increase in calcium and phosphates in the serum. So what are these things which stimulate the osteoclast? First is the rank ligand, which is present on what? The stromal cells and the osteoblast. This rank ligand, when it binds with the rank receptor, it leads to downstream signaling of the NF kappa beta signaling pathway. which helps in differentiation of the osteoclast precursor into an mature osteoclast. To inhibit this rank ligand, we actually have a protein which is known as osteoprotegrin, which which helps in inhibiting this rank ligand binding by actually binding to the rank ligand. So rank ligand, and when OPG and rank ligand bind, so the rank ligand will not be able to bind to the rank receptor, which will lead to decreased osteoclast differentiation and which will lead to decreased resorption. Repeating this again, when rank ligand and rank they bind together, more osteocytes will be formed. More osteocytes will be formed, more resorption will take place. When rank ligand binds with OPG, less osteoclasts will be matured and less resorption will take place. Now, it is common sense, if monocyte colony stimulating factor binds with the monocyte colony stimulating factor receptor, it will lead to more formation of osteoclasts, which are actually macrophages themselves, and it will lead to more resorption of the bone. So this is how the osteoclasts are matured and activated. Now coming to this diagram. So we saw here that osteoclasts are activated. Now these osteoclasts will liberate matrix bound and growth factors. These will liberate matrix bound growth factors due to destruction and everything, which will lead to proliferation of what? Osteoprogenitor cells. It is easily visible here that these are spindle shaped cells. So the matrix bound and growth factors will lead to proliferation of the osteoprogenitor cells. Now these osteoprogenitor cells have a very big role in the formation of in the activation of osteoblasts. But why do we want to activate the osteoblast here? What happens in the BMU, the bone multicellular unit, is first there is osteoclast activation. There is first osteoclast activation. This will lead to resorption. This will lead to liberation of different factors, which will lead to osteoblast activation, which will lead to bone formation, and also the matrix formation, to be very precise. So all these events are occurring in our bone every day, and this process is known as remodeling. So at the bone multicellular unit there is a system of checks and balances which occurs. That is, resorption also takes place, and osteoblast the bone formation also takes place simultaneously. This is known as remodeling of the bone. So coming back to the topic, now if osteoclasts are activated, obviously it will lead to proliferation of the osteoprogenitor cells. These will secrete two different types of factors, which will activate different signaling pathways in the osteoblast and make them active, which will lead to formation of osteocytes. So what are these pathways? First is the WNT signaling pathway. The WNT signaling pathway, so the WNT factor, it binds with the LRP56 receptor. The WNT binds with the LRP56 receptor, which leads to downstream signaling of the beta catenin pathway, which will lead to osteoblast activation, and it will lead to future formation of osteocytes. It's actually bone forming. So WNT and LRP56 will lead to osteoblast stimulation. Also, as we discussed earlier, this BMP, it also stimulates osteoblasts, which will lead to more proliferation of the bone. So WNT beta catenin will lead to more proliferation because due to more osteoblast activation, and BMP will also lead to more osteoblast proliferation. Okay, to inhibit this, the mature osteocytes actually secrete something known as sclerostin. Sclerostin will inhibit the osteoblast activity, and this molecule, anti-sclerostin antibodies have been pharmacologically prepared for many different types of diseases nowadays. So this is all regarding the how osteocytes and osteoclasts and osteoblasts are how they are activated, how they are inhibited. So repeating once again, the osteoclasts are activated by RANK-RANKL and CSF and MCSFR, and they are inhibited by RANK ligand and OPG binding. The osteoblasts are activated by WNT LRP56, which leads to beta catenin's downstream signaling, and also BMP, and it is inhibited by sclerostin. And we have different number of hormones in our body which actually favorably promote either bone formation or bone dissolution, bone resorption. So what are these hormones? These are very important. So PTH PTH, IL-1 and corticosteroids, these actually lead to more of bone resorption. These increase the activity of the osteoclast. It is common knowledge that PTH leads to formation of osteoclasts, and which helps in increasing the serum calcium levels and serum phosphate levels. IL-1 is inflammatory, so it is easy to understand that it will activate the macrophages. And corticosteroids, it is common knowledge that corticosteroids have an adverse effect of osteoporosis due to this reason only. So this is very important. Also, BMP and sex steroids like estrogen, progesterone. We know estrogen has a protective role in against osteoporosis. So it is easy to understand that BMP and sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, these actually help in OPG expression, and OPG will bind to RANK ligand, and it will inhibit RANK ligand formation, which will lead to more osteoclast activity. So it will lead to decreased osteoclast activity. So this is all regarding the topic of bone homeostasis and remodeling.